things that I'm not, well it seems that I'm caught every time you remind me. You're right to take away my pride, to burn it to the ground so we can start again.
Alright, so one, the microphone isn't muted this time. Two, I didn't think we'd be here at 7:30 in the evening. Guys, hey, welcome to the stream. This is a total new thing here for Philly Sports Network. I know you guys loved the preseason stream, so I thought, do you know what? I've been at all day doing a roster tracker. I've done analysis on the roster cuts. I was going to do a video on the first wave, but I was like, there's another 12 coming. Why not give an instant reaction? You can see them all on that note, that side of the screen. Welcome to the chat, guys. It's emotional, right? I mean, the two biggest things for me straight away are obviously going to be Alex Singleton and Mark and Michelle, the CFL products that I've been pounding the table for what honestly feels like forever at this point. Have just been waived like that, and I think it's a real testament to the strength of the depth on this Eagles team. Like, we know all of a sudden just how strong that linebacker group is. It's only a few months ago that Paul Rollo could have been thrown into a starting role, and now I know some people aren't as high on Nate Jerry as Jim Schwartz is, but this team are high on him, and you've got a lot of depth there. And now with LJ Fort breaking out, you've got a lot more problems than, I just don't think Alex Singleton can break on. And same goes for wide receiver. In a dream scenario, Mark and Michelle would have been that wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 guy, and instead he's now stuck behind what would have been Matt Collins, potentially Greg Ward Jr. as well. It's a real shame. And on any other roster, there's a good chance they catch on, and I don't think they pass through waivers. And if somehow they do, there's going to be a career back in Canada for them, because they have performed so damn well this offseason. It's just been amazing. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't believe we've already got 50 of you. Like, we planned these preseason streams. This is totally unplanned. So drop your comments. What are you shocked about? What are you looking forward to tomorrow? Who makes the roster? Who doesn't? LJ's even on an alcoholic beverage, so we can have like vaguely tipsy roster predictions here. LJ Fort reminds me of an upgraded Michael Kendrick, says 3-Card Monty. That's interesting. I think he's definitely showed out during Pittsburgh. We've seen plenty from him in terms of matching up against tight ends and that sort of thing. So the Eagles like what they've got there. He's a perennial special teams guy. That's definitely going to play a factor while Camu's sidelined. But let's just take a look at what you guys are saying. It's crazy we've got this many. It's such short notice. Like, I decided I was going to do this about 10 minutes ago. Tarek Womack says, I like Mark and Michelle. Jellyfish Live says, bye-bye Kessler. Let's talk Cody Kessler then, because that guy is out of the picture. And I've got to make an apology, if I'm honest. I've got to hold my hands up. I was running the point on the Cody Kessler train for a while, and I shouldn't have been. I thought that, you know what? Former third-round pick, 17 starts to his name. He could be the perfect backup to at least give a grading scale against Nate Sudfeld, so the Eagles can understand where Nate Sudfeld is, evaluating him against a fringe-level talent. And it turns out Kessler wasn't a fringe-level talent and sort of was so far back it almost hurt. So that sucked. I apologise if I was any false hope on that front of mine. But let's see what 3-Card Monty says. Did Deshaun Hall and Josh Sweat make the team? Not yet. They're both still on it at the moment. The Eagles have 12 more roster moves to make. And on the right-hand side of your screen, or the left, whichever one, you can see all the players that are going currently. There aren't too many shocking ones. I think the main ones so far, obviously, the fact that Matt Collins is still around is a shock to many people at this point, or at least to me. I know there's like a 50% split. Some people love him. Some people are just kind of wanting to move on and give someone like Carlton Agadosi, Mark and Michelle, Greg Ward a shot. None of those guys are making the roster. Unless Greg Ward is kind of sat there at the minute on a fringe. It wouldn't surprise me if they keep him. Another bit of speculation as well is that Mike K of NJ.com said the Eagles could have a trade market for running backs. I don't know how much legitimacy there's going to be to that, or who's going to be at stake. Jordan Howard's on a 1-year deal. Miles Sanders is an absolute off-limit sort of running back. Darren Sproles is going nowhere. Wendell Smallwood is likely going to be cut. Corey Clement could realistically be the only name I can think of at running back that would have any remote trade value. So if that is the case, the automatic link is going to be with Jadeveon Clowney. I don't think that's going to be a foreseeable trade, but stranger things have happened. But yeah, guys, if you enjoy this sort of thing, if you want me to do one tomorrow, let me know. I'm going to be here for around an hour or so, hopefully, just breaking this all down for you. But it's been a wild day. Like, I was literally going to come downstairs, shoot a video, and I thought by the time it gets up and you've all seen it, the other 12 moves would have been announced. And I'm sat there on a roster tracker all evening, like pining away. It just makes sense to have a chat with you guys and hear how you're feeling about it all as well. So Nemshi says, I really like Carlton Agadosi. Me as well. Mainly for the fact his name was one letter away from being Charlton, favourite football team. But at 6'5", the guy's an absolute behemoth. He's got plenty of toe drag swag. I think he really impressed the Eagles. I thought he had a shoe in, if I'm honest. They seem to be getting bigger. You look at guys like JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Alshon Jeffrey, even Matt Collins. They're fitting this bigger, bulkier prototype. They're focusing a lot less on speed and a lot more on that size. So for me, seeing him go was a bit of a shock, to be sure. But, you know, I'm sure he'll catch on. He's definitely a practice squad candidate if he does fall through. I just made scones to my wife and me. Dude, I haven't even eaten my dinner yet. So I've opened up an alcoholic beverage to get me through. It's a rhubarb and custard flavoured English cider. We're on brand and it matches the shirt, which you can get down below. No music for that. This isn't This Week in Philadelphia Sports, just yeah. Kiri says, any updates on the rumours about Clowney? Not that I'm aware of. The latest that I've seen is that he's not happy with Miami. Shock. I think he wants to play for a contender. But it's going to get to a point where I think if he wants to play this year, the value is going to go down so much where the Eagles could snag a bargain. And I know we've been very negligent about the whole Vitae talk and running back talk. But as this value goes down and that time bomb ticks and the Texans have to cash in on something before he just sits out the entire year, that could swing a bargain. And I didn't think it would get to this point. But you never know, alright? I mean, this is Howie Roseman, it's the end of the off-season. Stranger things have happened is all I'm saying. And maybe it's a cider. I've had 3 sips of it. You see Miami off the 11. I didn't see that, Brandon, actually. So that is very interesting. Very interesting. I think that's probably a bit too steep, if I'm honest, though. But then Miami's offensive line is hardly... I mean, the only thing I've honestly seen of note today is that Teez Tabor's been cut, and that was the one cornerback I was so low on coming out of college and got shouted at. I was low on Teez Tabor, I was low on Tre'Davious White. I put together like an 85, there was an 85-page scout book thing on all the cornerbacks that year. Avonte Maddox was in it, I liked him, but I was down on Tabor. I was oh cool, my evaluations come true, and then I remembered I was also down on Tre'Davious White. That didn't come true, so I let myself go a bit there. But yeah, what are you guys thinking? Because, gee, it's been a bit emotional, wasn't it, today? I mean, we've seen DeAndre Hall was one guy waived that, if I'm honest, I said in last night's stream, I thought could have been a mainstay. Because if you look at the amount of movement at that safety position recently, you had Jason Thompson come in and Rudy Ford came in, who hasn't been cut yet. So Rudy Ford has not been cut. He's only recently just been signed, or poached, I should say, as a free agent from the Arizona Cardinals. So that could be... a potential guy. We've lost Trey Sullivan. DeAndre Hall played 30% of special team snaps last year, had 5 special teams tackles to his name, is no longer on the team. So I thought that would have been his real route into staying on this team. He doesn't have that now. Maybe we are going to see someone like Rudy Ford sneak on. We know the 4 safeties are going to be Jonathan Cyprien on Andrews. Can't even speak Sunday for the podcast listeners, behind Jenkins and Rodney McLeod as well. There could be a 5th for that special teams value though. Nathaniel Forrest, thanks for tuning in, man, says, as much as I liked him, Stefan Wisniewski is going to get released. That's the one guy I'm very, very, very apprehensive of. At this point, though, they've already released some very interesting offensive linemen. So if you take a look to that right-hand side and just see if you can see some of the names. Keegan Render was a versatile guard that's been released. Matt Pryor is still on the roster as of right now. I don't think they would have given him the snaps they did last night if they didn't somewhat believe in him. Anthony Fabiano, backup centre, gone. Keegan Render, as I said, gone. Was also a guy that could have played centre. Nate Herbig, I believe, is still there. So is this going to be a way in for Wisniewski, who then did get shipped back outside after the move to centre failed? I don't know. It's tricky, but that's one guy I'm kind of apprehensive. I've said it all on my bold take this whole off-season has been, I don't think he makes the final roster. There's too much politics around it. You know, he's a former Super Bowl starter, get thrown off the team, and then he's back on again. He can't get a long-term deal, comes back, and then what you have is almost this mid-season benching when no one else... Oh, Lane Johnson was struggling and awful because of his ankle injury. Jason Peters was Jason Peters. You can't bench Kelsey, you can't bench Brooks, and the only man left to bench was Wisniewski to make a statement. He was fuming about it. comes back a year later, gets pushed inside, Vaitai takes right guard, snaps away from him. So, I don't know, man. Like, I'm really torn on Wisniewski. If he makes his team, it's from the fact that he's a veteran, you know what you're getting. It's sort of like it's like waking up in the morning after a night out and your food's gone cold, but you put it in the microwave. Like, it won't be great, but you know what it is. It's what you need at the time. So there's a lot of guys talking here about obviously Wendell Smallwood. We've got Donnell Pumphrey talking in the chat as well. Anyone else from other teams' cuts? Yeah, Tease Tabor is one guy I'm set on because I swear if the Eagles go after him, I won't be happy. Like, absolute bust by unimaginable standards. Also a quick update as well for anyone waiting on the Outside Insider podcast, which is adequately mentioned that side of the screen. Got to get this little left and right thing correct. But yeah, that's not coming out today purely because of this. Like, the whole precedent of the podcast was going to be Edwards versus Singleton. Big argument, like, cool podcast, and then it's irrelevant within hours. So I wanted to wait, just hold back a little bit. That podcast is coming hopefully tomorrow, depending on what time the days the moves will get confirmed. But it's been a bit of an emotional journey so far. Worried Greg Ward got cut. He's not gone anywhere just yet. I think Greg Ward is definitely a bit more of a certainty to make this roster than other people. Paxton Lynch would be interesting off waivers. Makes sense. I think he's been a bit disappointing. You could maybe put that down to coaching. I remember there was an argument back in the day where it was him in the third round or trading up for Carson Wentz, and how different this franchise could have been had they not gone up all the way to snag Carson Wentz in that first round. I really can't drink subtly, can I? Magoo got released from Jacksonville. Yeah, that's very true. And I remember we've all had a bit of an emotional flummox over Alex Magoo, didn't we? And his crazy wheels, his Manziel level wheels. So maybe he'll end up in Philadelphia. I'm sure he's going to end up with a team soon. Cody Kessler, I don't know. And I do feel bad for the guy. Was as we know, third round pick in Cleveland, started games, traded to Jacksonville, was arguably an upgrade over Blake Bortles, but that doesn't really say much. Comes to the Eagles and can't beat out Nate Sudfeld. Very almost gets beat out by Clayton Thorson. So that really does his career no favours. Like, you're looking at XFL at that point. That is borderline like Landry Jones level sort of career we're looking at. JMark84, does Wendell Smallwood survive cuts? I doubt it. I hope not. Not in like a mean way, but I just don't see a space of keeping him. Like, if you keep Smallwood over someone like Boston Scott, it just doesn't really speak great things about the team. Like, he's done nothing. They've given him silver platter opportunity after silver platter opportunity, and he's done nothing with it. So at this stage, I think Smallwood is in his contract year. They're not contractually obliged to him. It just makes sense to let him go. But guys, if you are new around here, if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, it would be amazing if you could. We're going to try and do a lot more of these live streams as time goes on. And also we're going to have daily uploads, and there's going to be analysis tomorrow. This week in Philadelphia sports, we'll have more jokes about these roster cuts than pretty much any podcast I've ever done so far. So I think this week in Philadelphia sports is like my favourite thing I do on this channel. It's like a weekly recap of all the big news. But yeah, Josh Adams isn't on that list either. Well pointed out, our Lion fan. Colts, like, oh god, let's know. Is this a troll to Keem? Because even if it is, I mean, I'm not really that bothered. It's like good for him. You know what I mean? If he did, like, great. If not, does it affect anyone ever? Who knows? Is Sanders a first down back, or do we need to see Howard on first and second? Depends on the matchup. Like, I don't think you can really put it as first down, second down. It's more if you've got a stacked box or if you've got an empty box or what you're trying to do with the ball. Like, if you want to run it up the middle, make a point early on and wear down a drive, then put Sanders in maybe like 4th, 5th play in. That would make sense. If you'd rather see Miles Sanders out of the gap, give it more explosive, get defenders wary, having to defend the perimeter, and then run it up the gut, then who knows. But yeah, there's some interesting names sort of on this list, and obviously, I know I've gone over it before, but my heart is with Alex Singleton, and anyone that was in the live stream last night, just give me a hell yeah in the stream, like full on Steve Austin, hell yeah, if you were in up until stupid o'clock last night in this live stream, watching the Eagles preseason game, because I think I speak for everyone when we say we got very emotionally attached to Alex Singleton. The guy laid down 15 tackles in a single game. It was absolutely insane, and it somehow wasn't enough, and it's a real shame. I would love to see him kind of come back and maybe land back with the CFL. I love all the hell he has for getting in the chat. That's so sick. But, I think the Calgary Stampeders could use him. Their defense has honestly taken a step back without him there. They tried to... I don't know. I did a lot of Calgary Stampeders study purely for this and for work I do sort of elsewhere. But yeah, their defense has taken a step back. They had some coaching changes. So, I don't know. That was an argument for Singleton versus Nate Jerry. I don't know. I think they've tried to bulk Nate Jerry up, and the problem is that a lot of people are expecting Jerry to still be this outside linebacker, hybrid safety type of guy, and that's just not his game anymore. What we now see from him instead is someone that genuinely plays at Mike. He's bulked up an extra 15 pounds on top of the 15 pounds he bulked last year, I believe, so that's 30. You're going to be a bit slower to react. You're going to have to get used to that sort of thing. And John Eads is in here as well, who I know is up late again, so that's dedication. So yeah, I don't know. I think honestly at this point, Nate Jerry is much more of an inside linebacker playing behind Zach Brown. And Zach Brown's been quiet this offseason. He's not had a strong training camp in like the relation to the breakouts and the constant notes and that sort of thing. We've not seen him ball out in preseason. I mean, Jim Schwartz said it took him a little bit longer to adapt to the playbook and the scheme and that sort of thing. So, I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't surprise me if Nate Jerry, they're kind of conditioning him to play that Mike role, let Nigel Bradham sit the other side, and kind of rotate with Zach Brown. Again, it's not a huge contract they've got him to. There's a reason that Washington let him go. Maybe this tallies up into a breakout for Nate Jerry, and that's when you've got LJ Fort and the next guy, who's probably going to be TJ Edwards on the outside. Now, Brian Cameron, our Eagles writer, has got into the chat, and he's already making sassy comments, and I can't keep up. So, he's given a moment's silence for Alex Singleton, and if I could play the Titanic theme on flute, I would, but it might deafen you. But it was just... I remember, so Brian obviously was in our Slack chat when the news broke, and within a space of 10 minutes, Thomas was writing an article on Alex Singleton. He got cut. And then 10 minutes later, we saw that Mark and Michelle had been cut as well. So when Morgan sees this, who has been standing those two more than I think anyone, he's going to have a heart attack. Like, I'm already in my feelings here. Like I said, we've got rhubarb and custard cider. That's how bad it's got. Eagles has landed, says Nate Jerry lacks football intelligence and instinct. I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact he's gone from safety to outside linebacker to inside linebacker. That's a steep transition. It's like a different spot year on year. You're either hybrid safety, you're a Mike guy, are you setting up the defense, are you setting calls? It's tough. So I think we should just give him a little bit of slack if possible. Like, I don't know. I'm not overly low on Jerry. I remember that game against the Falcons last year. He was exceptional. But yeah, I'm a PSN stand for it. We're just hand on heart, just looking into the side, thinking he did us proud, Alex Singleton. He was this year's Paul Turner, and I would take him every day of the week. Oh, there's no notification. I'm sorry, man. I wish there was. I don't know how. To be fair, I decided on doing this stream about 7 minutes before it went live. I had to kick my brother out of the living room. He was playing Mastodon on guitar, so I almost got a guitar around the head for you guys. That's a level of dedication I'm willing to go to at 1 a.m. here. But obviously, moving forward to tomorrow, there's plenty more to look out for as well. Excuse me, so I'm just trying to digest this rhubarb. It doesn't taste that nice, for rhubarb and custard. So on another note, actually, while I'm trying to find what I'm looking for, did you know that this brand of cider, Brothers, okay, I actually did a modelling shoot for them back in the day when I had a man bun, which says all you need. The less said about that, the better. I don't know why I brought that up, actually, in retrospect. That's going to not sit too well at all. But obviously, towards tomorrow, the Eagles need 12 more roster moves. Okay, 12 more between now and tomorrow. And the names that I think are currently on the bubble, there are around 6 of the 12 that I think you can accurately say are either on the bubble or are going to be cut. So Brett Toth is one of them. He played every single snap last year for the Eagles, or last night, I should say, for the Eagles, which was unreal. Like, absolutely unreal. I think he held his own very, very well. I don't know. I think Smallwood's in one of those weird spots now on top of that. But Brett Toth made one big play. I think we were all in the stream being like, oh my god, hello. Hang on. See, you can see I'm just distracted looking at all the, oh my god, I just realised I've modelled for cider. But Brett Toth, the Eagles have got to decide if he's a practice squad candidate. Can he afford to slip through waivers? Bear in mind, this guy came out of the military to chase an NFL dream with like 2 weeks left, like a week left of training camp. Jalen Williams, would you explain the difference between release versus waive? Why would you waive release players? But yeah, absolutely, Jalen. Very good question. It is confusing. So as far as I'm aware, waiving players is for, there's like a certain eligibility, it's for non-veterans. So if you looked at the players released by the Eagles, it's veteran Kasim Edebali, Eli Harold, Hayes Pollard, Orlando Scandrick and Will Tye. All of them have a certain amount of NFL experience. The same way practice squad works, right? So once you've had a certain level of NFL experience in game, you can't be put on the practice squad anymore. You lose that eligibility. Waived players is for those guys who haven't yet had that thing. So they all go onto a waiver wire, and it's almost like a mini draft. So any player that is waived and not released goes into a pool, and anyone has a waiver pick and they can use it. But if they use that, they're not allowed to use it for the next round. So it's very much like a wave draft, and that's how practice squads are built. All these players go in, and you're like, the second you push a button, you miss out until everyone else selects, right? So it's very much like a mini NFL draft. So it's essentially just younger players, undrafted free agents, practice squad candidates that get waived, veterans then get released, which is why in Ian Rappaport's report earlier today, he stated that you may see nickel cornerback Orlando Scandrick back on the team by week 2. Purely because you don't know what we're going to see from Crayvon LeBlanc. Like, LeBlanc has to be on the active roster to be placed on injured reserve. So if he is on the active roster, they can't keep Scandrick as well. So they have to put LeBlanc on, waive Scandrick, and then bring him back. The beauty of that is if they release Scandrick's probably already got a predicated agreement with the Eagles that, okay, we're going to put Crayvon on injured reserve. Scandrick's going to go. He can choose not to sign anywhere, right? So he can sit there, put his feet up, have a couple of weeks off, have a brother's rhubarb and custard cider if he wants to, and then come back in a couple of weeks. Whereas if you're waived, you could be relocated at any point. If a team claims your waiver rights, you're gone. You don't have any real say in it unless you negotiate the contract, you know? So that's I hope that clears it up a little bit. It's obviously a lot more in depth than that, but trying to keep it as simple as possible to kind of, I know it's like kind of late over there now. But yeah, that's sort of the difference between the two. So just to go over, I know we've got the big list here saying who's been waived and who's released and stuff, but in terms of tomorrow, the players that I'm looking at, I think Wendell Smallwood would be released. That wouldn't be a waive. Wendell Smallwood will be released, which means he could technically come back later in the year. So the Eagles may say to Smallwood, hey, we're going to bring you back in X instance, or if Darren Sproles presumably gets injured. Whereas someone like Nate Herbig, who's someone they're high on, younger, undrafted free agent, hasn't had that experience, would have to go through the waiver wire. And the risk is, if he gets claimed by someone else, you can't bring him back. He's gone to the other team. So that's essentially the difference between the two. I hope that kind of helps it a bit. If there's a loophole, Roseman will find it. Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy you've got over 100 of you. Like, this is like a pre-season stream all over again. Can you tell I miss the pre-season streams? The fact that it's not even been 24 hours and we're back here in my living room again. I just can't get enough of it. But yeah, it's been a pretty wild, I'd say 6 hours or so. Our website traffic has been like very, very strong. I think everyone's so hungry to work out about these cuts, and that's what I love about this fan base is that like everyone is so wrapped up in their team. Like, you know exactly what's going on. Every player on that 90-man roster you want to know everything about, and other teams don't get that. Like, Detroit just waived Tease Tabor, a former second-round pick. No one cares. Like, Detroit, I've not heard a word out of them. Where Eagles, Alex Singleton doesn't make the roster, and there is hysteria. I'm listening to the 1975 and drinking alcohol. Everything's gone wrong, and I love that passion. So like, I'll happily do these podcasts for so long. Bet on the Patriots getting Markin off waiver. Yeah. I don't know. I think I could certainly see where you're coming from, Brandon. It makes sense. But at this point, you've got to view it from the fact of both players having come from Canada, where their contracts were a bit more secure. And in comparison to an undrafted free agent, they're probably going to get more money in Canada for regular football. Like, if you go on a practice squad right now, it's not guaranteed. So I wouldn't worry too much about that sort of thing at the minute. So I got to interact with News Carl, which I'm glad you enjoy it, Geordie. I know you're here like no matter rain or shine. I don't think that anything could happen where you wouldn't be in the stream, which is an amazing thing to say. Oh no, is the stream gone? Oh no, I hope not. I swear if Takeem posts another news rumour in here, I won't be happy. Takeem, behave, alright? Sort it out. Okay. Oh, I'm getting paranoid now. Jellyfish, you got to turn your volume up, man. I'm getting worried. If anyone can't hear me, just spam the chat. If they can, you just hear me talk about, not being able to hear. Now, I don't realise if I go to... Can we have one last Singleton tribute? Oh, I've not saved it. Do you know, I mean, we've got the Clayton Thorson tribute, but I don't really want to go... It's been time. It's had its time, isn't it, the Clayton Thorson song? We've run it into the ground, I feel like, now. But yeah, I mean, who are you guys looking for that's left on this roster to make the roster tomorrow and not cut the roster tomorrow? I mean, I'm honestly a bit surprised still, like I said, by DeAndre Hill. That's been the one that has caught me off guard probably the most. TJ Edwards is going to scare the life out of me. If he doesn't make the roster, I don't know. If you're the Eagles and you don't keep either Edwards or Singleton and you keep Fort, I don't know, Fort look good, but it's a middle. You want those outside linebackers who are roaming. And while Edwards has higher upside and he's 3 years younger, I thought Singleton brought more special teams value. He certainly showed it more in preseason. I don't know. But if they don't keep any of them, I really won't be happy. I want a Viking burial for the Thorson song. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm exactly the same. Hence why I'm drinking myself into oblivion with one cider. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see tomorrow as well. Like, would you rather see a live stream going over the live reaction, or would you want me to do a video kind of breaking down each position? Like, there's obviously going to be a roster analysis. Like, as soon as the final 53 is confirmed, tomorrow's such a mess. Charlton play at 3 p.m. The roster deadline's 4 p.m. Eastern, it's like 9 p.m. here. And then I've got to run around and do videos and articles, so I'm very excited. What else are you guys saying though? What are the players you're looking out for? That's what I want to know. Unsurprisingly, guys like Chris Worley was... Oh god, the live stream. Okay, everyone wants to stream. I'm being bombarded with them now. There's no real shocks as of yet outside of Alex Singleton, debatably Mark and Michelle. I don't think there's that much in the way of shocks, right? Kevin Wilkins was a little bit upsetting. That's definitely a practice squad candidate. Eugene Harris had a nice little run for sure. Anthony Fabiano would have been a guy. I think Nathaniel Forrest just pointed to it there. That would have been a name to watch. But that to me more just points to Stefan Wisniewski. Josh Adams. Okay, so Josh Adams is in a very, very tough spot right now. So Pumphrey's gone. So remaining backs on the roster as of right now, you're going to have, obviously, Howard and Sanders aren't going... Oh, Sanders isn't going anywhere. Okay, Howard... Okay, right, let me try. I'm trying to do this by like trade and given this whole market report, right? So if we say, for argument's sake, Sanders is going nowhere, he's about the only one that's safe, realistically. Smallwood is either going to be cut or he's here, purely because he's on his last year of contract. Jordan Howard could be flipped if a team was willing to pay. Someone like Texas, they could be flipped. Right, if Eddie's pulling a Takeem, he's going in the timeout, alright? Someone source that out. I would have known by now, my phone would have gone mental. He's not been cut, don't be silly. Oh, Takeem's back again with Matt Collins. Oh, God, it never ends. Do you know what? I think it'd be cool if Matt Collins went to Chicago because he'd reunite with Trubisky because UNC connection and, you know, that would have been cool. I'm still getting, you know, another massive underrated aspect of last year, and what I think really hurt Matt Collins was that Gunter Brewer, who was his college wide receivers coach at UNC, was the Eagles wide receivers coach last year, and now he's gone. But imagine if Hollins was healthy. Like, would that not have been the best thing? I don't know. I feel like Hollins could have had a really big year under Gunter Brewer, who knew him, who worked with him all throughout UNC, like his entire college career. I feel that would have been really cool. But ultimately, that wasn't to be. But wide receiver in itself is a very, very, very tricky point to watch. So, guys, you know how these streams work. You know I've got some B-roll remotely somewhere. And I've, of course, got them on Greg Ward Jr. And this is a guy that we do have to talk about because he survived the first wave of roster cuts. In what is becoming like the Hunger Games, we know he survived this first round. He had a great preseason. He looked good. He got himself a touchdown, had a strong training camp, a very strong training camp. But everyone seems, there's this consensus where he doesn't do anything exceptionally well, but he's been with the Eagles now for 3 consecutive off-seasons. You're seeing footage from last off-season. We're so close. You know, he's that close to making the team. He then goes to the Alliance of American Football, an actual league where he can be a wide receiver in a competitive scenario that's not preseason, and got stuff done. He got it done. I feel like coming back, there is that new element to Greg Ward Jr. There hasn't been a notable, I'd say, improvement to his route running or anything like that, but certainly enough of a consistency argument to say, hey, do you know what, he's come on leaps and bounds. So, I don't know. I know a lot of people want to see Greg Ward Jr. for the underdog story. Braxton Miller already bit the dust long ago. So, Greg Ward Jr. is that last guy that could, if anyone's going to play that Taysom Hill role, it would be Greg Ward Jr. But as a wide receiver 5 or 6, I would have argued Mark and Michelle gave more upside. I think he did. As that yak potential guy that gets open on screens and slants and can make things happen after the catch, I think he could have been that guy. Greg Ward wasn't for me. He's a receiver. He's solid. He's well-rounded. But you want a niche at that wide receiver 5 or 6 position. And I think Michelle had it. So I don't know, man. I'm interested. It's a really tough debate to have. And anytime you're having these discussions, it's always really strong. Also, guys, we are 2 subscribers away from 13,400. If you're not subscribed yet, if you're enjoying this analysis, we've got film breakdowns. I feel like I'm auctioning like a candy shop. We've got film breakdowns over here. We've got like roster analysis. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. So make sure you hit that. If you could hit the subscribe button, get this channel to 13.4, that'd be really cool. Like that'd be really, really, really cool. And I can just blame that plea on the fact I'm drinking rhubarb and custard flavoured cider, which I'm assuming is the British version of White Claw at this point. We don't have that, so I'm having to kind of second guess. Another thing we haven't even addressed yet, which is something to bear in mind, is the fact that Richard Rodgers was placed on injured reserve, and that has gone dramatically under the radar. Now, obviously, he can't be activated until week 8, right? So that's something where you're going to have to kind of bear that in mind. But it means that the Eagles are going to have to try and do something, right? They're going to have to bring in an extra tight end, because as of right now, they've waived Will Tye as well, which means the 2 guys left are going to be Joshua Perkins and Alex Ellis. Now, I've said for the entire offseason, if you've been listening to the podcasts and the streams and the videos, that I do genuinely believe they would keep 4 tight ends, because it makes too much sense. They lost 13 personnel looks when Richard Rodgers went down last year. They've lost it this year with Richard Rodgers out of the picture. And behind Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, there is no depth now. And you need at least an inline blocker. And I know Dallas Goedert's blocking has come on tenfold from when he came out of South Dakota State, but you need that reliability angle there, and it's just currently not. So I would say that there's a very strong chance, given how the first wave of cuts have gone, and we've seen names like, Mark Michelle, Alex Singleton, 2 fringe guys go, that opens the possibility for those 13 personnel sets to bring on that extra tight end. If they cut Wisniewski as well, and they say, hey, do you know what? Pryor can do it, or let's just keep a little bit of extra depth on those tight end position, you need an inline blocker. And I think it's absolutely possible that Alex Ellis has turned so many heads during preseason with like the hands in the air and the Odell Beckham catch last night and a touchdown, the special teams tackle, the 2-point conversion block in that week before. So I'm just saying, I think 4 tight ends is a genuine possibility at this point. I always point back to 2014, where a lot of people forget this, where the Eagles went on and they had Brent Selleck and James Casey, Zach Ertz, and then Trey Burton as an undrafted free agent. And look how that panned out. The growth of that position, I would argue they're trying to replicate that same again, with Ertz now being the leader of the group. So don't be surprised if they do keep 4 tight ends. Shirt, dude, I gave away 5 shirts. I didn't even realise how many shirts I gave away last night. I gave away 5. I might give away another one. We'll see what the reception's like. Guys, on that note, if you are unaware, we do have limited edition shirts for this week only, which look like this. Essentially what they're there for is anyone that joined the End Zone live streams, all of the preseason streams, they're available for until Sunday, and then I'll take them off sale. You can get them, there's a link somewhere, presumably, just on like Teespring. All the pictures are down below. These are the ones have been given away. So if you fancy one of those, the Teespring store, I'll grab the link for you very smoothly ASAP while I try and type and talk at the same time, which is a real problem of mine. But yeah, just a little commemorative item. I've got myself a hoodie of it because I've got to make merch I want to wear myself. And if you don't wear your own merch, you've got to be your own biggest fan, right? I mean, it's just the way of the world. So I'm going to grab this. If anyone wants to purchase that, I'm not trying to market it at all. I'm just saying I know that people liked the t-shirts last night. So if you do wanted to cop one, they're there. But I will be giving one away because I gave away 5 last night. So I'll be giving one away a little bit later on, okay? Is the 4th tight end the tightest? I would say the 2nd tight end's the tightest because he's sandwiched between 2. When will the second wave of cuts be announced? We don't really know, Eddie. The Eagles kind of do it on their own merit. They may do it early in the morning. They may do it in the evening. But what they tend to do is announce all of that and then the practice squad at the same time. And the scramble for practice squad information is an absolute nightmare, I swear to God. That's getting warmer by the second. Because I just, no man, I don't know about that. I think I mean, I worked at Apple for a couple of years, but my sales technique really wasn't my strong suit. Funny story, you know, podcast. Because we didn't have a podcast today, I've got to give you kind of podcast level content as well. So during my days at Apple, I remember someone bought, I think it was like an iPhone 8 or something, and I went to transact it, check it all out with a little scanny gun thing. Got to the end and I was like, right then, that's 3:15 then, please. And she went, what? And I was like, first time that's happened, that's 7 on. And basically I read the time out instead of the price, and I was looking at the time because I knew Charlton had kicked off and I wanted to know the score. Rookie mistake. So if you are in sales, read the price, not the time. Just a little bit of advice for you there. But okay, let's go to a hypothetical then. What would happen if the Eagles keep 3 tight ends? Is it Joshua Perkins because he's got the familiarity, he's been on the team last year, or do you go with Alex Ellis, who was shown far more during preseason? I know, Kiri, the podcast is coming. I knew the nature of today. I knew it's going to be a mess. And the one trait the Outside Insider podcast has is the second I discuss something on a podcast, the opposite gets announced 15 minutes later. And today's show would have always been about Alex Singleton, and I didn't want to put out a show on that, and then it just all blows up and be relevant for half an hour. So it's much better to have like a big recap podcast when all the dust settles and we can address it that way. People would say, I don't know about crazy, man. I think Josh Perkins has I don't want to say a limited ceiling, but in comparison, he's not a receiving tight end out and out. He's not an out and out blocking tight end out and out, right? So he's this weird blend where he can do both, but his route running isn't the highest of caliber. His hands aren't the softest. He's a little bit scrappy, and he struggles to get separation. Now, when he's active, like that week 2 game against the Bucks when he had 57 yards, I think he's pretty good. But then there were times like we saw against the Colts 1 week later where he really struggled. So I think he's got competition, but that could be a really, really tight end. That was the best pun I've ever made. That is the best pun. I'm going. That's the best pun I've ever made. That's amazing. To that battle. Oh, incredible. But what other little things are we looking at right now as we get in towards the final? Obviously, Nate Herbig is a player that a lot of people are talking about. Undrafted free agent, could stick onto the team. I know he's taken snaps at centre, he's taken snaps at guard. That, for me, is the Wisniewski catalyst right there. My face has gone as pink as my shirt, and I don't know why. But yeah, I think Herbig, like, if they keep Herbig, given the fact that even Keegan Render took snaps away from Wisniewski, I genuinely feel like that's the catalyst. If they keep Herbig, he's gone. Like, Wiz is gone at that point. If he doesn't, and they don't feel that he's come along far enough in his development, let's be honest, there is no real devout centre backup behind Jason Kelsey at the minute. Liam Peebles is a clown yet. Right, see, now I trust Brandon because he's been very informative to me. If he pulls a Takeem on me, I won't be happy. So I'm going to search Clowney on Twitter, right? He's not signed his tender. That's the latest I've seen. What's happened here? Clowney must be on it. What's happened? Go on. Anything? Liam, when are you moving fully to cover the birds? The thing is, I'm covering the birds now, so this is like my full-time job now, which is, I did cry last night. So yeah, like I've been doing this since April 19th. I'm going to actually get that date tattooed, you know. But in terms of moving to Philadelphia, the problem I've got is, as I explained yesterday, I need a work visa. I can't go out on a visitor visa like everyone else ever in the country because I'd be technically earning money when I get out there, and they don't like that. So I have to get a proper visa. So I would come out on holiday, but because I'm technically earning money, I can't because they'll have a go at me and I'll be banged up in a prison somewhere. So believe me, it's cool. I'm trying my best to get out there. But as of right now, I'm extremely happy doing what I love. It's a full-time job, talking Eagles at 1 a.m, drinking rhubarb and custard cider. There's definitely worse jobs to have, and I'm extremely grateful. So whether I'm in Philly or not, or I get there tomorrow or next year, the fact that you guys are here blowing the chat up is amazing. I love it. So I'm happy with that. According to Jevin, he only okay, I think that's the thing. I know he said before he wants to play for the Eagles, and everyone's kicking off about it, and it's like, if it happens, you know what? I'd be so worried of the Dream Team thing. Would you not? Like, would no one else be a bit terrified that it would be 2011 all over again? I don't know. I can't. I wouldn't be happy if they bought Clowney. I'd probably be the only person in Philadelphia genuinely upset about it. If you don't mind me asking, what outlet is writing you checks? If you don't mind me asking, what outlet is writing you checks for covering the birds? I'm assuming where do I write? So I write for Philly Sports Network, which is my website. So the website, the YouTube channel is my company, my big baby. So that's it's all mine. So I built it up. Took 5 years to get to here, and my voice still hasn't dropped. So don't worry. But I don't know. Would anyone else be disappointed with Clowney? Am I the only one? Because I don't know. Oh, apparently he's liking tweets and stuff now. Like, I can't be bothered. It's so diva-y. It really is. I don't know. He's got upside at 26. Agreed. Fully agreed, Brandon. The issue I've got is that he only wants to come if you can get a long-term deal. The Eagles can't afford one. If they can somehow get him and convince him there's a contract year, come win a Super Bowl and dip, fine. But you're taking snaps away from someone. And that means Deshaun Hall's not making the team, for starters. And Sharif Miller's going to go on injured reserve with like a bitten lip or something. So, it's tricky. It's tricky. Because at the end of the day, Clowney's going to want about 70% of snaps. That's fine. The issue there is you're taking him away directly from Derek Barnett. Like, you're not starting him over Brandon Graham. If you can get him to a long-term deal and trade Brandon Graham, then I'll be open to it. Then I'll be a bit more like, okay, fine. But I don't know. There's something about it. It's not sitting right. It's not an Eagles move. It's not a culture move. Clowney's not that sort of guy that, well, I don't know him personally, but he's not that sort of, it's a headache. This whole thing has been a headache. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Legend Killer. Like, I get that. I remember going back and watching the Dream season to figure out where it all went wrong. I know watching 2009 as well, like Sam Bradford's first game against the Eagles as a Ram. That was a throwback. I did that. This is the life I live now. I'm like, do you want Netflix and chill now? Let's watch Sam Bradford versus the Eagles in 2011. That would be great. That. Let's have a look. I'm not a fan of trading and giving Clowney 100. Yeah, I don't think he should get that here. Like, he'd have to go to another team. It's more the fact that it's a massive knock of confidence on Derek Barnett, and I've said that for about a week now. That if you bring in Clowney, you're just basically saying, yeah, this is a massive upgrade over the fact that we've got a rookie in his third, a first round pick in his third year that hasn't lived up to expectation, and it's a whiff. Then in that draft, you've whiffed on Derek Barnett, and I'm not playing skeptical here, but over the last few years, we've then seen Donnell Pumphrey, Mac Hollins, Vaitai salvaged a career barely. All of a sudden, that draft history is looking a little bit shaky in the heart. Like, you can say Carter Wentz was a home run, but he absolutely should have been. Anything less than a home run for that amount of stake you've traded up for is abysmal. So, fair, like, you're expecting that. Anything where it's a native pick at your position is starting to get a bit shit. Shelton Gibson, another one gone. You know, like, that draft is falling apart now. So, I don't know. I think Derek Barnett is in a weird spot for sure, especially if they get Jadeveon Clowney. The disgruntled Texans pass rusher would prefer a trade to the Eagles. Yeah, but again, I said it in a live stream last night. I preferred to get back with my ex over any other girl, but it ain't happening. You know, it's one of those things. Like, he's gonna want to come to the Eagles because it's probably the best team in the league in terms of a roster and star power and depth in competition and strength of division. Let's not forget that now, that you're playing against an awful Redskins team, a Giants team captained by Eli Manning, and the Dallas Cowboys. That's easy. That's easy in comparison to where he's playing currently, or looking to move to. Like, if you go to Miami, you've got to face the Patriots and the Jets, who are now looking reasonably good if Darnold can get it together. So I think, of course, he's going to want to come to the Eagles. But I love how this whole roster cut thing has gone right then, Jadeveon straight away. Oh, God. I don't know. I feel like it could work. It just wouldn't be something I would do. To me, it feels like I don't know. It's giving me a headache thinking about it, if I'm honest. It really is. Like, someone. Okay, so the immediate problem you've got, if we just take the idea of the long-term extension out, and somehow the Eagles get him on just that lovely $15.9 million tag. They get him on that, and everything's gravy, right? That's it. That's the T. That's the tag. Forget everything else. All right, they can afford that bit. Is Malcolm Jenkins not going to be a bit annoyed? that he didn't get a contract extension. So not only do they extend Carson Wentz, but they bring in Jadeveon Clowney and don't give Malcolm Jenkins any guaranteed money. Is that not the biggest slap in the face to the heartbeat of your defense? That's a problem straight away. Straight up problem. Number 2, someone's getting cut. It's not going to be Sharif Miller, although I don't think he's proven anything this preseason. He's going to be, like I said, rookie IR stashed. It's probably me, Deshaun Hall, who's worked his ass off. And he's now not going to get a roster spot because the Eagles have gone out ultra aggressive to get Clowney. Legend Killer, I don't know. I try to stay away from that sort of thing. Like, from what you see on film, the only thing I can say is the whole motor thing and the effort thing I don't see. The injury thing I'd be a bit more concerned about. And the fact that 9.5 sack seasons aren't what they were. You know, we're playing in an NFL now where it's difficult, but you look at what guys like Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, JJ Watt, just to name a few of the elite ones, are able to do on a yearly basis, and Clowney doesn't sit in this, oh my god, we have to go and get him, we have to get Clowney. Like, no, you don't. He's not some godsend. He's not a generational talent. He's a freak athlete, sure, but he's not a generational talent. And when you've got quarterbacks now that are looking for those longer developing route concepts and having running back checkdowns underneath, you value those speedy defensive ends and stuff a bit more. And it's the big guys inside that pave the way. Like, I don't know. The only way I could see it working is if they cut Vinny Curry or trade Vinny Curry and bring in Clowney and work that way. And then you've got someone that's going to come in and force maybe... I don't see, even that's problematic. Like, you're trying to get him on the other side where you're not taking snaps away from anyone. And even that in itself is problematic. So, I don't know. There's too many moving parts. And if Harry makes it work, that's why he's being paid millions of dollars and still looks really, really good for his age. Whereas I'm sat here at 1 a.m. drinking rhubarb and custard cider, debating Howie's problem. That's why he's paid the big bucks to say it, you know? So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's a very nice development to be in and keep monitoring. But given the way that roster cuts are going at the minute, I'm not sold on it. Like, I haven't been sold on it for a while. But let me know what you guys think as well. Like, if you're in this chat and you're not typing, I'm angry at you. All right, you've got to get. If you want to win a T-shirt, you got to get in the chat because I can't do it on my own. All right, we need you to join the PSN community. That's what we're about here. Also, on that note, have we hit the phantom goal of 13,400? No, one more. We're one away. One more subscriber. If one of you is not subscribed and you're watching this, hit that button and I might cry. How's that for a deal? Let's see what else you guys are saying. Let's see, more importantly, moves that are coming tomorrow because there's still 12 to come. So I'm going to go on the Eagles roster. I don't think I would have updated it just yet because, I mean, that would have been some grind and a half from their like, social media team to get that sorted. But the one guy I'm honestly very intrigued to see land. Oh my god, we got the sub. Baccia Libre has just subscribed. We're on 13,400. The real MVP. Thank you. You're a star. But yeah, the one player I would honestly to look out for as an underdog to make this team would be Rudy Ford. The fact that he was traded for, like I said, there was a lot of movement at that safety position. They had Jason Thompson came in. And a couple other people as well. Oh, JJ, you're a star. Thank you. What's worse, carrying to the Eagles or Liam's pink shirt? Right, Liam's pink shirt says Philly Sports Network on and says the Outside Insider on the back of it. So, clowning to the Eagles. Come on, Tyson. It's either that or you're getting a pink shirt, Tyson, alright? Behave. But yeah, so the fact that they signed Jason Thompson, he's now gone. Godwin equal big whip, he's gone. He went to the Jets, obviously signed by Joe Douglas. There was a lot of movement. DeAndre Hall's now gone. Trey Sullivan is now gone. And wouldn't you believe it, I've got the actual stats here because I wrote an article on phillysportsnetwork.com, my website, sorry, the other day. So just to get these up, because I found like special team stuff so fascinating. Give me 2 seconds and I'll grab exactly what I'm looking for you. There we go. I found it. Alright, okay, so Trey Sullivan last year had 8 special teams tackles. And I believe, wherever he's gone to now, I've lost him on this list. But yeah, so Trey Sullivan had 8, DeAndre Hall had 5, okay? They sat 3rd and 4th on the team in special teams tackles. The team had 82 overall, 8 and 5. In terms of snap counts, Trey Sullivan played 47% of snaps on special teams last year. He's now been waived. DeAndre Hall has now been waived. Now, Rudy Ford, believe it or not, during his NFL career, has played in 455 special team snaps, only 62 defensive snaps. The Eagles signed Blake Countess, who led the Rams in special teams tackles in back-to-back years. He got injured. They're trying to find a special team safety. Do not be surprised if they keep a 5th safety on this roster. Why is everyone counting? What have we got here? Have I missed something? Oh no, okay, I've missed numbers. 1, 2, everyone's counting. I've missed something, but okay. Who's ready for some Eagles football? I am, Troy, because it means lots more live streams and videos and film rooms. And film rooms on non-preseason football that don't get demonetized, which means I won't be homeless. Do we need a linebacker? Oh, please don't bring up Alex Singleton again. I've only just stopped crying about it. But no, I think they'll be fine. And the main thing I'd say to keep an eye on would be Nate Jerry maybe looking to take over Zach Brown's role and that sort of thing. Oh, Liam, I see wings behind you. I know what. Is someone flirting with me in the chat? They're not wings. They're just these little... hold on. These things. I don't know what it is. I had it for years. Millions of them. That's really pointy and sharp. You can javelin it. That one's just like... I don't know what that is, but it's there. But I appreciate the flirt line. I will use that on Tinder and hopefully, well, for the 3 matches that I get, and we'll be fine. But yeah, I think Nate Jerry is going to be a guy to come in and probably get some snap counts potentially behind Zach Brown. Outside's going to be LJ Fort and TJ Edwards. That's the way I would view that linebacker position. Bradham outside. I think there's still going to be a little bit of concern over Fletcher Cox, maybe. And I'm not being that guy. I mean, I am being that guy. But Fletcher Cox hasn't been there all the way through preseason, right? Okay, hasn't done much training camp. There's been a little bit of concern about his injury. Malik Jackson's been very, very quiet. The only DTs to really make an impact have been Trayvon Hester. Great. Hassan Ridgeway's been all right. And then it's defensive ends. So, from that perspective, I think Jadeveon Clowney may make a bit more sense if there's a problem with Fletcher Cox. The guy's an athletic freak. He can play a 3-tech or a 5-tech. I think that, to me, would sign a little bit more of concern over Fletcher Cox. So don't write that off. All right, anyone watches, don't write that. I think that could be a massive question mark now going in towards this start of the 2019 season. There could absolutely be a problem. Either with Fletcher Cox or that he might not be ready for week 1 or he could having to play limited snaps. Bear in mind, the guy played like 104% of snaps last year. He didn't come off the field. Then in 2017, again, everyone forgets this, right? But 2017, the Eagles had Destiny Vial and Bo Allen, neither of which are on the team anymore. Everyone thinks bums, whatever. The fact is, guys, they played 60% of defensive snaps combined, those two. I think the final number, I think, was 61. But 60% at least of Vio and Bo Allen. They lost that last year. With Jernigan out, they really lost that last year. And we're now at a point where we don't know the status of Fletcher Cox. It's all been very mystical. He won't tell reporters. The Eagles are keeping quite stum on it. There is a chance that with Clowney's versatility, there is a chance. I think that could be... I've had a eureka moment. That someone's going to steal that and write an article now, and I swear they're getting an RKO, so don't tweet the beat writers. It's going on Philly Sports Network tomorrow morning, alright? Brandon Marshall will be nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Fletcher started running sprints yesterday. Okay, cool. So it's progress, but how close is he to game time? That's more the question. It's like, sprints is great. Are you ready to move 305 pounds of weight from one point to the other to get into the point of a quarterback? That could be something to watch. I'm not trying to be like negative Nelly here, but it's just something worth keeping an eye on. But I don't know, guys. I mean, I said I'd be on here for an hour. We're almost at the end, so I will do one t-shirt giveaway. Now, on the topic of t-shirt giveaways, I am still getting to yesterday's. I think I've paid 2 or 3. Or I've contacted like 4 and I've sent 2. I think I've still got to talk to Will and Geordie. Everything else I'm pretty sure I've worked out, but I might be wrong. So, on that note though, guys, what I need you to do is, there's 83 of you in this chat, right? I'm assuming most of you have YouTube accounts. A, subscribe, okay? That's a plus, because then I'll stop asking for you to. And B, I want you to spam the chat. Just go, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up and down this chat, right? And bearing in mind, I only actually scroll up so far. So if you've said a message half an hour ago, I won't see it. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up and down this chat, and what I'm going to do is land on a random name, and I'll give away a t-shirt. So if you're watching this stream, you've got an account, get in that live chat, join the PSN community, start spamming whatever it is. I don't care what you, I just don't get yourself banned, because I know it's got some sort of auto spam detection. So what we're going to do, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to go up and down the chat, and I'm going to land on a name, and whoever it lands on is going to get a limited edition Philly Sports Network shirt, and it lands on Jackson Green. So Jackson Green, you've got yourself a Philly Sports Network t-shirt. Email phillysportsnetwork@gmail.com with your PayPal address, and I'll get the money to you, and you can get it on there. Why did my, is it t-shirt? Yes, so that's what's sorted. Congratulations, man. Very happy for you. And yeah, I'll see. Oh, now the chat blows up. No, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you guys. So what I want you to do now, though, is give me one last bold prediction, guys. I'll read the best ones out. Bold predictions in the chat. What are you thinking for tomorrow? I need one player that makes the roster, one player that doesn't. I need a shock cut and a shock make, if that's the thing, or a shock player that makes the roster. So for me, I'm going to go with the shock player to make the roster, Rudy Ford, because I can go, oh, Rudy, 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 Rudy. See, This Week in Philadelphia Sports. If you're not watching that every Sunday afternoon, although it's going to move to Saturday because the Eagles play on, I've spoiled a joke. The opening joke for Sunday's video is now ruined because of this stream. So every Sunday we have This Week in Philadelphia Sports. Tuesdays are typically film rooms. Fridays are my podcast, and then Wednesday and Thursday we'll have filler content of like top 10 this or things to do in things. And then we'll have some live streams as well and some post-game streams. So if you are new around here, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe. I want to get daily content out on top of what I do at phillysportsnetwork.com. So if you don't know and you've just discovered this channel, not only is there a YouTube channel, oh no, phillysportsnetwork.com, alright, click that. You have articles from me and all of our writers. There are 30 of us. We're credentialed with the Flyers, we're credentialed with the Union, we've got a relationship with the Sixers, not like that, but a bit more, you know what I'm saying? And we bring out like, I think 8 articles a day, and I write about 2 or 3 of them. So if you want more premium LJ content, go there as well. But honestly, guys, it's now nearly been an hour. Thank you so much for all of you who've tuned into this stream. I'm a little bit shook that you're all here, if I'm brutally honest. I don't want to get too soppy again because I did cry last night, and that is now on a stream record. Like, that's there. Yeah, like, I planned this stream in about 7 minutes. I made all the thumbnails and stuff. And, yeah, we made it, didn't we? So, like, somehow you all show out. There's, like, 78 of you here now, again, which blows my mind. That's crazy. So thank you for all of your support. We will be back tomorrow night. Whether it's a live stream or just a big video recapping everything, I don't know. But as soon as all the moves are confirmed, whether that's practice squad, the final roster, and everything else, we will be back breaking it. Ooh, decided to come back on me then. Breaking it all down, giving away some more t-shirts with like t-shirt cannons. And just, yeah, man, like, thank you so much for all your support. I hope this video has maybe taught you some new things, given you a new player to watch in Rudy, 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 Rudy. You're all stats now a song, alright? That's replacing the Thorson song. So, for one last time, because it's still saved on my computer, we will play the Thorson song. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @LiamJenkinsPSN. And I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, here's one more rendition of the Thorson song, and then into oblivion we go. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Stick around, phillysportsnetwork.com. I'll be there in the meantime. I've been there all day doing recap trackers, rumour trackers, roster trackers, all sorts of trackers, tracker biscuits, the lot. So we'll be around, but thanks for all the support. I love you all. Here's Clayton Thorson one more time. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson, da 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 da. Clayton Thorson.